Hey friend, welcome back to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. Are you struggling to stick with healthy habits, especially as we are coming into the holiday season? Today I'm going to share with you one simple habit that I think can make a huge impact on your health. It's going to be super simple to stick with as we move into this holiday season. And I don't know about you, but that is what I need. I need to keep things simple. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi friend, do you dream of having a garden but you don't know where to start? Do you want to switch to more natural products but feel overwhelmed by all the options? Do you believe that a holistic lifestyle would help your special needs kiddo but you're daunted by all the information out there? Welcome to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast, where you will learn how to work towards your dream for homesteading, gardening, and holistic living in small, simple steps that won't overwhelm you. Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm a wife, Jesus follower, and mom to some amazing kids. As some of my kids began experiencing health struggles and developmental delays, I decided it was time to switch to a holistic lifestyle. I quickly became stressed out and burnt out, feeling like I needed to change everything at once. I finally realized that I had to start making one small change at a time, then build from there. I learned to walk this holistic journey in a way that works for me and my family, without stress or overwhelm or constantly feeling like I wasn't doing enough. If you're ready to hear from another mama who understands what it's like to have no time and who can help you make changes towards better health for your family in a way that works for your specific life, then this is the podcast for you. Pop in your earbuds, reheat your coffee for the third time, and let's do this. Okay, so for me, this has been a time where we've had a very super busy season. We're coming out of a busy season, I should say, and then kind of coming into a busy season with the holidays. It's just always busier. I'm sure it's the same for most of you, where it just feels like there's a lot more to do and there's lots of wonderful family time, which is great, but we just tend to be a lot busier. And what I've noticed is because coming into the holiday season where it's busy, and then also we were coming out of months of an extremely busy season, just more so than normal for us and for an extended period of time, while also having some kids struggling with some things. It was just a lot. And what I noticed was that I was really struggling to be consistent with my basic health habits. And for instance, just not drinking enough water, not making sure that I was eating consistently, not getting enough protein, a lot of the things that are very foundational for me to feel my best. And so what I'm doing now and what we're going to kind of focus on for the next several podcast episodes is going to be just getting back to the basics. And I think this is a great time to do it because we're just going to take one thing at a time and keep it very simple because of the stress and the craziness of the holiday season. But also what I know for myself, and is probably true for you, is that I really need these foundational health practices more than ever whenever I'm in that busy season. It's also the hardest time to actually implement them. If you feel the same way and you're feeling like you need some extra accountability and just encouragement, then head over to our free Facebook community and join us there. And we will just encourage each other and keep each other accountable during this holiday season as we work to implement some really foundational health habits. You can find it at bit.ly/motherhood community, or I will also have the link down in the show notes below. So today we're just going to be very basic and simple. And what we're going to talk about is making sure that we are getting enough water. Again, we're keeping it simple. It's something that can be such a struggle though. We get busy. If you're like me, you're running around, you just forget to drink enough water. And I want to share with you some reasons why we need to be making sure that we are drinking water. The first one is that it really helps our brain to produce hormones and neurotransmitters. So we want to have healthy, balanced hormones. It's very important to our health. It's also important to our mood. Neurotransmitters are going to do the same. It's very important to our mood. So when we think of neurotransmitters, we think of things like GABA, serotonin, oxytocin. Those are some examples. They're very, if you're struggling with things like anxiety, depression, anything like that, it's going to be very important to make sure that those neurotransmitters are being produced and balanced appropriately in your brain. So making sure that we're getting enough water is a simple way that we can support our body in being able to produce those appropriate amounts of hormones and also neurotransmitters. So the second thing is that it helps to regulate our body temp. This is going to be in areas like sweating or in respiration. The third benefit of drinking an appropriate amount of water is that it is going to be extremely important for appropriate digestion. So water helps to form saliva, which also helps. Saliva is used to help to break down food in the mouth. Water also aids the body in breaking down food to convert it to different components that are needed for survival. So this is obviously going to be something that's essential to feeling our best. And as we're rushing through this holiday season, that's what we need. We need to be able to have clear minds, to feel well, to feel like we're energized and able to get up and tackle everything that we have ahead of us for the day. Okay, number 5 is that it lubricates joints, and this kind of goes along with feeling our best. So if you're thinking you have a lot of joint pain, then the first thing I personally would look at, and that I do look at for myself, is to see, am I actually drinking enough water? The fluid that lubricates our joints is called synovial fluid, and what it is largely made up of is water. So if we're not getting enough water, then we're not getting enough lubrication. We're not creating enough synovial fluid to get enough lubrication in our joints. So if you're wanting to be running around chasing your kids, doing all the things, and making sure that you're drinking enough water, especially like I said, if you're dealing with joint pain, is going to be vital. Okay, number 6 is that it's going to allow the cells in the body to grow and reproduce. Again, this is just going to be essential for basic health and function. Number 7 is that it keeps your mucous membranes moist. So when you're thinking about dry mucus or mucosal membranes, then you're thinking of things that could cause, if you have dry mucous membranes, that it's going to cause things like a bloody nose. It can even cause nasal congestion. It can also cause a sore throat. So again, these are going to be things that we want to avoid as we're coming into the holiday season. Number 8 is that it aids in detoxing the body. It does this by mainly it's going to flush waste out of the body in the form of urine, which is extremely important. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. And number 9 is that it acts as a shock absorber for the brain and the spinal cord, which is obviously extremely important. We need to protect our brain and spinal cord. So making sure that we're having enough water is going to be very beneficial in that. Okay, so what is the goal? The goal, I'm sure you've all heard this before. The goal is going to be to aim for about 50% of your body weight in water. So for instance, if you weigh 150 pounds, then your goal is going to be 75 ounces of water a day. And a good indicator for you to kind of determine whether or not your body is dehydrated is just to look at your urine. The goal would be for a pale yellow color in your urine. And if it's any darker than that, then you would want to just consider that you might potentially be dehydrated. And the thing with dehydration is it can also cause headaches. So if you're struggling with headaches a lot, that could be something that you need to look at and see, am I drinking enough water? Very, very, also, like I mentioned before, it's very important for aiding digestion. So if you're having digestive troubles, then that's definitely something you want to look at too. So the other question is going to be, what kind of water should we drink? There are different debates. Some people say you should drink more alkaline water. It's also extremely important to make sure that you are getting enough minerals. So we typically would do things like electrolytes and things like that. You do want to make sure you're getting an appropriate balance of those as well. But the main thing to look at is you want to make sure that your water is pure. You want to make sure that it is free of chemicals and additives. What we do, because where I live, they do add fluoride to our water, and we do not want to personally drink fluoride. So we use a filter, which will remove things like chlorine, fluoride, a whole list of other things. And I will link the filter that we use below in case you want to know. It has really good test ratings. I've done a lot of digging and reading into it. We've had it for at least 2 years, I think now, and we've really liked it. It's called a Pro One filter. Like I said, they do third-party testing, which is extremely important to me, and the testing has always come back good. I've been very impressed with it. I've even had other family members who have read up on the testing as well and bought one after we did. So that's what I typically will do, is use our Pro One filter to make sure that I'm getting appropriate water. I do typically end up adding electrolytes into my water at some point. I typically will use like Redmond's Real Salt and add like a pinch or two of salt. Or another thing that I will do if I'm feeling like I'm a little bit on the dehydrated side, or if I'm dealing with headaches and stuff, is I personally will use Element, like a drink mix Element. I like it. Some people don't like it. Some people don't mind the unflavored. It's something that I'm okay with using, especially, like I said, if I'm really feeling like I'm struggling with dehydration, it's something that I will use. So that is kind of what we do in our house. And my goal moving forward is to make sure that I am getting that 50% of my body weight in ounces of water a day. If this is an area that you are also struggling in and you are up for the challenge of trying to make sure that you're consistently doing this, then head over to our free Facebook community, join us there, and we will just encourage each other in this. I also hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you're in the United States, that's Thanksgiving is on Thursday here in the U.S. I hope you guys have a wonderful time with your families. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you back next time. Hey Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who is wanting to live more holistically without the overwhelm? Also, don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. It blesses and encourages me to know that this show is helping you. All right, friends, it's time for me to go work in the garden and make some homemade bone broth. I will see you back next week.